And I think the thing is that it's hard for me to take all that into consideration and then not sound like a complete fanboy. So, I've mentioned this company. I mentioned this company. I'll give you a close up there. There you go. You'll probably be able to see that a bit better. There you go. So, I mentioned this company in a video. I probably mentioned them in a couple of videos, but I mentioned this company in a video that I did, I think, where I was talking about drums that I would like to buy in the future. Now, I'm sitting here with an Ebenor 14x5 Applewood snare drum. Now, sadly, this drum is not mine, and I do at some point have to give it back, which kind of bums me out a little bit. But you know, people get funny when you take stuff and you don't pay for it. Who'd have thought? But you know, I think I've said well, look, you know, I've said before in a video which I may or may not have released, I don't know. So I've been reviewing drum gear for like nearly 20 years for MikeDolbear.com. And if Mike gets or arranges stuff for me to have, I tend not to do it on this channel as well, because I think that's kind of a little bit well, unethical. Maybe is not the right word, but it's the general vibe. Now, stuff that I arrange, I have less of a problem with. So if in this instance, I arranged for me to sort of have this, so I've done a written review for MikeDolbear.com about 5 or 6 weeks ago, and now I am doing this video for myself and for you. I mean, so I got introduced to Ebenor not quite a year ago, actually, 9 or 10 months ago. Now, Ebenor is a Canadian company. It's basically a young guy called William. He's a really nice guy. I've spoken to him several times. He's taken time out of his day to show me around his workshop, albeit obviously I was in here, he was in Canada, and you know, but you know, he's a lovely guy, and finally having sometimes you know, it's all well and good seeing pictures of lovely looking drums on a website. And I think for the most part, I don't remember ever coming across a drum that looked fantastic on a website, in a picture, and it sucked. I don't remember that ever being the case. But the thing is you can obviously only judge that book so far without then reading it. And you know, it took a while. It took a while, but I finally got to try one of William's drums, and you know what? This absolutely didn't disappoint. In fact, it actually still managed to surprise me. So this particular drum, as I said, is made of Applewood. Applewood is a locally sourced wood to where William is in Quebec, and this is basically a stave shell that he's put together, and this is like basically the Applewood line is just basically a whole line of drums that he makes out of this wood, and I think he's talked about it, if not on his website, but go check out his Facebook page and his Instagram page as well for sure. I know he's talked about some of the wood that he uses for this, but this drum. Well, actually, give you more of the specs. So as I said, it's a 14x5. It's 10 double-ended tube lugs. You've got 2.3mm triple flanged hoops. You've got the trick strainer there. Obviously, the butt plate there as well. It's turned up with pure sound. There you go. Oh, that's better. Pure sound wires. It's a lovely. Oh, sorry, and you've got Evans heads, top and bottom as well. Now, in terms of visuals, you know what? It's not very often I come across drums that personally tick every box that I could probably want ticking. You know, I think I've mentioned before that I genuinely go on 3 things when I'm thinking about snare drums and looking at snare drums and playing snare drums. Now, the obvious one, how does it sound? I suppose semi-obvious one as well is how does it look? And the other one is how does it feel when you play it? There's no point, you know, it can be a little bit of a distraction, I think, if you've got a drum that looks fantastic but sounds crap. It can be a bit distracting when you've got a drum that looks great, sounds great, but kind of just feels a bit weird when you play it. And you know, this basically just ticked everything. When I took it out of the box, I put it on the kit. I've had this a little while now, so and I haven't played it in the last sort of couple of weeks because, well, the sound file that you'll see I did about 5 or 6 weeks ago, and because this actually is owned by someone, this is someone's drum. They've bought this drum, and I don't want to play it and then, you know, have anything happen to it, other than maybe stealing it for myself. Yeah, it just ticked all the boxes. Now, the thing that I found that was particularly interesting and great fun as well was this drum has such a massive range on it. It goes up, it goes right down. In fact, it went down. I don't think I did it in the actual. Well, if I did do it, I didn't put it in the final one. But with the sound file that I did. I actually did it twice. I think that's maybe where I'm getting confused. I did it where it was just over like finger tight. And whilst it wasn't the most pleasant sound, the thing is it still did it. As I said, I don't think I included it in the version that you'll see in a minute. But in terms of just like overall feel and everything else, what a great drum. I mean, really, what a great drum. You know, I think I liked it most of the sort of a medium tensioning, but it worked, and it worked really well. In terms of just other little sort of, well, I suppose design features and features of the drum itself, like I said, I mean, as you'll see from the spin round, I mean, because it's a stave shell, it's obviously, you know, each sort of panel is slightly different, so it does give the drum a lot of character, and it's not necessarily like with these bits here. The grain is always going the same way. You know, it's kind of the same colouring, but it's quite clearly not the same. And then it sort of goes from, you know, that sort of figuring to that sort of figuring, and I find that really quite interesting. But the thing is you get that on the inside as well. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this and you're going to be able to see it. Maybe there you go. I think I did do a spin around on the video as well. It's been a little while since I've seen it, but you get an idea. You know, it's a lovely looking drum inside and out. The bearing edge, it's a sort of fairly sharp bearing edge with a rounding on going inwards. You've got a snare bed that's sort of about there, so you could easily fit 42s on it. It's just such a lovely drum. It really is, and I mean, it's difficult not to sound like a bit of a fanboy. I mean, I don't go out my way to do that, but at the same time, it's difficult not to sound like it because I'm just a fan of this drum, and I will endeavour to get one or several at some point. But you know, it's just. I think everything about, as I said, this just basically ticks all boxes for me. You know, as I said, it sounds good, it looks good, it feels good to play, and I think the other thing, which is a less of a concern, but like, you know, is that basically there's no rubbish parts on this. I mean, William's actually now doing his own lug, so this may not be the same as on any drums you might sort of order now. I don't remember how old this drum is. Oh god, there. I'm going to say this is, if I'm reading this right, this is actually from April last year. But so April 20, if I'm reading that right. But yeah, I mean, so they've developed their own lug as well now. You know, you've got a pretty cool looking badge there. If you can catch the light better, pretty cool looking badge there. You know, it's got the trick strainer. There's nothing on this that's sort of cheap. And again, it's just, you know, this is a high-end drum. Certainly in terms of, I think I can only be talking in terms of pound sterling, but in terms of pound sterling, this is a very high-end drum made to a wonderful specification and a high level, and it doesn't cost a huge amount of money. I mean, I think you're probably still talking £600 or £700 to certainly getting into the UK. I could be wrong on that, but I think if I remember rightly, I looked it up, it'd be about that. Which these days, you know, I mean, that's probably like half, almost. I think that's just under half, like what a sort of copperphonic will cost you. You know, some of the. I mean, I'm not poking holes at anyone, you know. But when you're looking at sort of some of the DW collectors series, which are, I suppose, arguably DW is still a custom drum company, albeit it's like the biggest one, and it's kind of it has much more akin to, like, you know, Pearl, Tama, Yamaha these days than it does Ebenor. But you know, it's just, you look at the price of a collector's series drum, or like I said, like some of the Ludwig drums, and you go, they're like £1,000 almost, or $1,000. And then you look at the price of this, and you get something that's individual, that's made by one guy, you know, and it's very, very reasonably priced. And I think the thing is that it's hard for me to take all that into consideration and then not sound like a complete fanboy. Finding this company was kind of like one of the highlights of 2020 for me, and finally getting to play this drum in 2021 has been a continuation of that. Now, I don't normally do little shout outs and stuff, but if you want to check out Ebenor Percussion, has a website, they have a Facebook page, they also have an Instagram page, and it's completely worth following them, because William's always putting stuff up certainly on Facebook and on Instagram. And if you're in the UK and probably Europe as well, Ebenor actually has a UK ambassador, which, strangely enough, is how I got to have it. Well, I say that, to be fair. Right, so Matt, who owns this drum, I've known Matt for ages anyway. And I knew him before he was the Ebenor ambassador. So, but you know what? If you're in the UK and you're interested about Ebenor drums, then there are going to be some Ebenor drums coming to the UK to Matt, and I dare say he'll be might be able to arrange to talk to you about the brand, and you know, let you hear samples or anything like that. But Matt can be contacted on Ebenor Percussion UK on Instagram, and there may be other things as well. I don't know, but certainly you can find him on Instagram, and talk to him about all things Ebenor. But anyway, I think that's it really. As you said, the sound file and the spin around and everything like that, I did a little while ago. So you know, you can enjoy that, I think. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.